Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Just put the screen on.
Welcome to everything is still on. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Hi. Yeah, it was a very strange sequence here as we're getting ready and you're getting straightened up and everything's ready. Okay, 5-10 seconds to air and the guy across from me, the bald dude sitting over there. Let me make sure.
That's me.
I was going to say we had like a momentary earthquake or something,
Bald
but
dude.
it would just go with all the other natural disasters that are going on the planet right now. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Maddie, I don't even have you centered in your picture.
I am the
right
center.
now. Wait, pull forward. You use your head to take up the space. That's what you got to use. Use your head. Use your natural gifts.
How's that?
That's close, actually. Yeah, all right. Look at this. I leave them in place, and there they are. Okay. Say hi to the nice people, man.
What's going on there, folks?
Maddie Damaz, Masaraki. Wow, this is like the end of season extravaganza, I guess. Right?
There's so much at stake today.
And,
Can you remember any time? Obviously each year there's always stories at this time of the year, but there is like 7 or 8 teams right now that are vying for just a few spots.
Oh, it's bananas.
Rankings from 2 to 6. Your game tonight's huge. There's a lot to go over, a lot to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's 100% bananas. It definitely is. I mean, and last night was a really, really good game between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. And we were also getting into. We were already starting to talk about next year. We're talking about the Houston Texans, and it's like they're an animal to watch out for now.
Yeah, they're in the playoffs now.
Yeah,
playoffs.
And next year, like I was telling you from the beginning of the season, I said, ooh. I knew D'Amico Ryans was going to be a good head coach, but I didn't think he was going to be this good.
Get the quarterback right, get the coach right.
Well, he did a good job with hiring his staff too. So seated next to Maddie Damaz as I got his old school Dolphin cap, not old school, but that would be 90s logo Dolphin cap. It's Johnny Autobahn.
Can't believe it is the end of the season already and we're into the playoffs. I think as football fans, we do this every week, the last week of football season.
What do you mean it's over?
It's such a long wait in the off season, man. It's once football's over, it feels like forever before it restarts again. But we here and we ready. Let's get it.
I was going to say, what? It's over. We can't. There's got to be more.
Baseball.
There's got to be. No.
All right, moving
football,
on.
Bro, football. Stop. What?
41 days.
It's bad enough I already agreed to give him, episodes to go over baseball.
I'll get you guys on my team. Don't worry. You guys will be a part of it.
Yeah.
41 days.
It's not a cult anybody wants to join, baseball boy. So as you can see, Johnny and I are decked out in our Dolphin gear, and
I'm wearing my matching gray to match the skies we've had for the last 2 days.
Yes, you sure are.
Gray and
that's where our natural light is coming from.
Yes.
The studio. I would have the windows open, except we have Egyptian geese outside my window here at Gonzo Radio Network headquarters. And no, we don't need that. We already make enough of that noise here as we go along. But it's an extra special time of the year for Dolphin fans because, first of all, trying season. It's been trying. I mean, yes, we're 11-4. We're going to the last game of the season. Everybody's like, "Oh, I told you it's going to come down to that last game against Buffalo." Blah, 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 whatever. But we hate Buffalo. I know Johnny hates Buffalo. I hate Buffalo. Everybody's like, "Oh, you don't hate them." I was like, no, it's hate. It really is.
I don't hate them.
I mean, well, this isn't about you.
I don't hate Buffalo.
This isn't about you. Okay, this is about my disdain for a team. Now, listen, they started it because when back in the late 70s, some little old lady from Batavia, wherever that's supposed to be, she brings this huge banner and she sits in the front row at Rich Stadium, okay, that old relic. And she had this huge 10-foot long banner draped over the rail that said, "God comma, I hate Miami. Okay? And we saw that for what? 15 years? I'm like, sorry, frozen wastelands. No, don't hate us because you ain't us. I mean, you can hate us because we beat you 26 games in a row. You can hate that, right?
That's a lot of games.
I hate that. I would hate for 13 years, I do nothing but get smoked by the same team.
That's a lot of games.
That would be annoying. I could see how you could hate us for that. Okay, but if you want to go hate for hate, okay, the Buffalo Bills have been directly in the way of the Miami Dolphins going to a Super Bowl since the Marino era. I mean, they cock-blocked Marino twice with two good teams. They cock-blocked him twice, all right? And they've knocked us kept us from getting into the playoffs with good teams several more times.
Are you talking about the Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas years?
Yeah.
They had a good football team back then.
In other words, the waste of 4 Super Bowls in a row. Yeah, the waste of wasted my time other than the fact that I got to go, I mean, Scott Norwood. How's that working out for you still? Huh? Oh, you had it. You were so close.
That man wrote a lot
right
of books.
there. It was right there. You could have had it. It was a chip shot field goal from one of the best field goal kickers in the NFL. And you know why? Because you suck, Buffalo. No Super Bowl for you.
Wow, real hatred.
Yeah.
Real hatred.
Hate.
Wow.
Real.
Good Buffalo rant.
Listen, I hate all 3 AFC East teams. Hate them. Okay, I don't hate their fans per se,
Except for the one lady with the banner.
I mean, I have.
You didn't like her.
I have friends. It sounds like the old lady with the banner.
She was on your list.
No Christmas
Clearly.
cards for her.
Right? Fuck her. Don't make me put on my black tank.
Yeah,
top.
so we had some football.
Don't make me put on my black tank top and really start talking smack.
Speaking of playoff football.
Listen, but before we go, okay, why do I hate Buffalo so much?
Tell us why.
I have never gotten into a fist fight with a New York Jets or New England Patriots fan. Okay, never.
Yeah, so it was the Buffalo
Never.
fan.
3 friggin' times.
Wow, not the same
Okay,
guy.
why? Because they can't keep their hands to themselves.
Because I'd pick a different weekend if it was.
Okay, because they can't keep their hands to themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, in 2 instances, it was one of those little guys that was drunk that were like, I don't care how big you are. Yeah, and you know what? And one of them got dragged away by the cops, still saying that I don't care. I get big motherfucker. I'll kick your ass. And it's like, bye. Just nothing good about the whole situation.
Is that the woman with the banner?
Oh my God! Oh, it's studio rules.
He's sorry.
He's sorry.
He didn't mean it.
What? What's your wife a Buffalo
Hold
fan?
on a second. She could be
Wait,
calling me
do you
next.
have a mixed marriage? Is that what you're trying to say? Your
My
wife
dad
a
is
Buffalo-
calling me for my picks. He's gonna have to wait. We'll win some money after the show.
Oh, and your dad's not a Buffalo fan.
He's a Detroit Lions fan, actually.
well,
a
good
big
for
Detroit
him.
Lions fan.
He's having a good time. Okay, Johnny, any parting shots before we actually get to the football? Because, I mean, I'm being petty. I don't give a shit.
No, I got to be honest with you. I actually, the last couple of years, I've actually had a lot of respect for Buffalo and how they built their team. I don't necessarily hate them, but I do root against them every week because they are in our division. I'm more of a Jets hater. Always have been, kind of. Don't like that team whatsoever. But Buffalo, man, listen, they earned their way here. They could have easily given up 6 weeks ago when they didn't. And now they're in a position to get the 2nd seed, and it's up to our team, man, shorthanded or not, to prevent that. So, hey, man, they got here deservingly. I'm not going to hate on them.
They ruined the song Shout. Ruined it.
You know what I hate?
Completely ruined it.
Can I talk about what I hate now?
Briefly? What do you got to hate?
I hate escalators.
Your Steelers are going to be getting to the playoffs.
I hate escalators. Have you ever watched some of the escalators? You know when an escalator video goes bad, like when those things break down and there's injuries in an escalator? Have you ever seen some of these videos? They're unbelievable. Don't get on escalators, people. Take the elevator. It's much safer. All right, so yeah,
the camera's still on you.
Yeah.
I've turned it over. We had our shots.
Yeah, so that's how I feel.
But fuck Buffalo.
Go
ahead.
We had a football game yesterday.
It's a couple of them.
2 of them.
We had one playoff spot be determined. Houston looked really good.
Playoffs?
Getting that kid back in the lineup made the difference, right? I mean, how good is C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud is Patrick Mahomes with better pocket discipline.
That dude this year had the best touchdown to interception ratio of any quarterback in the league as a rookie. All right?
Obscene.
Number one. But here's a question. You know, obviously we base a lot of our analysis on fantasy related. So we were talking, excuse me, I guess like before the show you said about looking ahead towards next year. Of course, we're looking towards fantasy drafts already. So we're looking, well, where exactly would C.J. Stroud rate next year? Is he a top 10 guy? My opinion, okay, I'm putting him against other quarterbacks that are in that same sort of grouping, and see if you agree with these. But who are you taking next year? C.J. Stroud or Trevor Lawrence?
I'll take Stroud. I'll take Stroud
You're taking
based off
Stroud,
of
right? Okay.
You start off with gotcha questions. Go ahead.
C.J. Stroud. No, again,
He's just setting up his pieces, but it's all right. Do it. No, that's
it's
okay.
tough.
Do it.
These are our opinions. Justin Herbert.
I've had time to see Herbert. Yeah, Stroud.
Listen, Herbert's put up some massive numbers, but we've talked about just the inconsistency in his environment with the number of coaches, head coaches, offensive coordinators.
It's not for lack of weapons.
Yeah, but yet he
That's
still puts
true.
up
Very much
massive
true, yes.
numbers. But he is putting up massive numbers. Okay. Dak Prescott. We're all talking about him now as the MVP. So
That's just
That's
crazy
where I
talk.
kind of draw the man. I might
Okay,
take Dak
fair.
next year.
Tua.
I'll take Stroud right now.
Okay. Goff.
Traitor. Okay, go ahead.
Home or away.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Stroud.
Wow.
Right. And by the way, C.J. Stroud just went into a very tough place.
Yeah, very
after they
true.
won that game.
Stroud.
Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields, any of these guys? Probably not, right? So
Yeah.
what we're talking about now is a guy that certainly, people have short memories. I'm curious to see where he starts out next year, where the analysts project him to be. I feel like he probably will be hovering around that 10 spot in terms of rankings. I think he's a top 5 guy. If he stays healthy, and again, you can say about any quarterback, but staying healthy is obviously important. But what he's done this year, 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 picks, passer rating over 100. He's a rookie. That's big. All right, that's big.
And did not start 4 games.
Missed
He had
time.
three for injuries.
Yeah, easily.
And he didn't start the season as the
Think
starter.
about that.
Yeah.
Over 4,000 yards
Yeah.
passing, and you miss 3 games.
Dude's
as a
5,000
rookie.
yards. It's ridiculous, possibly, right? So you're talking about massive ceiling. You're talking about a team. We talk about, the difference between Herbert and his coaching situation is the number of coaches. They got this one right, apparently, finally. So now they're all going in the same direction. They're all young guys. I don't think salary cap is going to be an issue for this team because they've got these guys locked under contract.
Nope.
They've got a quarterback under a rookie deal. So this is going to be potentially, if they draft well next year, this is something that, again, in a weak division, and Houston's going to be something we're talking about next year.
The only thing that I worry about, and we already talked about this, pre-show, is that I worry about that sophomore slump that a lot of players in general, not just quarterbacks, tend to go through. And I think you're seeing it in Lawrence this year. Now, you can blame injuries for Lawrence's, downfall this year.
I blame
But-
Urban Meyer.
But
You could last year.
at the end of the day, it is still a slump no matter how you look at it. And I just kind of worry that he's going to hit that. Now, there's also very much a possibility that he even takes a stride above next year, but that time will tell. If you're basing it off of just what he's done this season and projecting that he'll get better, then absolutely a top 10 quarterback next year if he gets any better than he is right now. The kid's amazing. Man.
Okay, of course, we're talking about next year, but he's got more games to play this year. So, what if he goes out? Again, it seems like each year there's a team that gets hot at the right time that makes some noise in the playoffs.
Where are they officially placed right now? What's their fifth?
I couldn't tell you. Again, the seedings haven't all broke out yet, but I know that they clinched a spot. So they're going to be on the road somewhere.
I just don't see them as a dangerous playoff team.
I don't see them as a team I want to play either because I think they do everything well. They don't. He doesn't turn the ball over, so they don't make mistakes on offense. The defense is good enough where they can create pressure. And I think they're in the middle of the pack in terms of turnovers, so they're a good defensive team. But again, it's not so much about where you are numbers-wise at this point. It's where you are health-wise. It's how you're playing, and it's who you have in charge of that offense. And this kid, it could be a story for him too. We're talking about Purdy and all these young quarterbacks, and because maybe he's missed some time and his numbers don't really pop, it's somebody who's not in the everyday discussion. But
And
that
a person
doesn't
that
mean
isn't in a quarterback that you didn't put in there is Richardson, and I understand why. The guy's missed a lot of time. But if Richardson comes back next year healthy and's able to play a full season, he was showing a tremendous amount of promise as well.
There is.
But health is part of the game, and you got to stay on the field. So
Plus,
that is
Richardson is more of a use your legs type guy,
like a Josh Allen.
C.J. Stroud's making throws right now that very few quarterbacks are doing that have been in the league for a long time.
Yeah, I don't know if I can name a rookie that has had that. That's amazing, man. To miss 3 games and have 4,100 yards. I don't know if you guys out there know how.
And again, that 3
impressive
games
that
is not even just the 3 games of numbers. It's 3 more games of experience. This guy's got only 13 games under his belt. Okay, that's all we're talking about here, and he had that success. So logic's going to tell you that more games is more experience, more success, more cohesion with the team, more opportunities to make those numbers look even bigger than they are.
I think Patrick Mahomes' rookie season is the season you'd have to go back to even have a comparable quarterback of like, wow, this guy is like way above his
and
years.
Technically that was year 2 because he sat a year behind Alex Smith.
Well, Justin Herbert has the record.
Oh, people forget
Justin
about
Herbert.
that.
Justin Herbert has the record for rookie yardage for AQB.
What was that? 45,
4,800, I think.
48.
It was a big number.
He was just a 6'6" tree.
And they just threw
rock.
it.
Well,
They had great weapons. They've always had great weapons, but
yeah.
just terrible coaching.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, sorry, go ahead.
Well, but that's the thing with Houston. Not only are they potentially dangerous this year, because as we've seen in years past, anybody gets into the playoffs, all of a sudden they win 3 games in a row, and they're hoisting that silver Lombardi trophy, and you're like, they're a wild card. They were 10-6 or 10-7. What the hell happened? They backed into the playoffs.
Listen,
New York Giants.
pressure's a real thing.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking about Houston.
Yeah.
They're talking about C.J. Stroud because of how good he is, and obviously, Ryan, the coach, and what they've done.
Yeah.
But as a whole, when you're talking about all the other teams, we've been talking about these other teams all year, okay, that are going to be in the picture. And so we know who they are. Who's Houston? You know what I mean? Who's Houston?
Right. I mean, listen, during the whole McDaniel hiring process, I said, well, hey, while you're sniffing around over there on the San Francisco sideline, take a look at D'Amico Ryans, because D'Amico Ryans has done nothing but year to year advance to that defensive coordinator position, because he showed the aptitude, the intelligence, the organization skills, the motivation skills. He connects with players like crazy. You saw every year, first as a linebacker coach with Houston, okay, and then moving on to San Francisco and moving up that ladder, okay, and every year he excelled. His players jumped up another level, and that was the D'Amico Ryans factor. And when they were in the process of looking around, they were like, run game and offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel is also a strong candidate for the Dolphins job. I was like, D'Amico Ryans? Anybody?
Yeah.
Boom, D'Amico Ryans. And now here we are. That team is not only set up for success this year, they are set up for success for years to come. And God bless, because we owe the Laramie Tunsil trade all to them, because that's the reason why we're back to where we are now, is because of the Laramie Tunsil trade. And now they've turned around and got Laramie signed, so he's going to anchor their offensive line probably until he retires, which good for him, God bless. And he's, if not the highest paid, one of the highest paid left tackles in the game. So they've got that big contract and a whole bunch of talented rookie and second year guys. I think Nico Collins was his third season, right? Nico's third season now.
Yeah.
But this is definitely his breakout season.
Yeah. Oh, we saw his breakout season last year. He posted like 1,200 yards last year.
Yeah, he got hurt though again last year.
He got hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, and he got hurt again this year.
The last 4 games last year, or something like that, he was like, forget about
so
5 touchdowns, I think, last year, or something like that.
Right.
Crazy, big numbers.
So we get Houston and full seasons out of all their critical players. Okay, let's also not forget that super high first-round draft choice, Willie Anderson, linebacker, who we've been seeing. He ran wild yesterday. Okay, he's one of those game-breaking linebackers. He also missed like 5 or 6 games, too.
I want to know what happened to Damian Pierce. I mean, that's a guy they took in the first round.
Yeah, he's banged up. He's been banged up.
But they've been using Singletary, I know, and he's been good. But that's the guy that if Pierce is the guy who they can
I selected him pretty high in my drafts for my things. I did. I thought he'd have a big year this year, and he hasn't shown. My question to both of you guys is ultimately this year, when you guys say that Houston is dangerous as in they can win one playoff game, or dangerous as being a legitimate threat to get to an AFC championship?
Every game they win is one step closer to the championship.
Yeah,
so if they win their first game and go into whoever they're going to be playing on the road, the thing is that you can really look at any team right now and find flaws. Really? You
No,
can
no,
pull apart.
100%.
You know, even San Fran now, you're questioning in terms of, you know, the Purdy
If they're
thing.
behind, can Purdy bring them
Right,
back?
and
And
then-
yeah, you can pick apart
and,
their.
and the Eagles and their consistency, Dak on the road. I mean, you can just go through every single team and raise questions.
Don't forget the Dolphins.
So I really do think it comes down to
He's-
matchups.
He's snubbing us right
We're
now.
He's
gonna
going
talk.
to.
That's
No, no,
snub.
no. He's setting things up.
It's a snub.
It's the last game we talk about in next segment. So anyway,
Yeah.
let's go to break. We got a lot of games to go over.
Well, okay, but before we go, though, I'm a firm believer, once again, is when you make it to the playoffs, it's anybody's game. I mean, everybody's got their 1 seed and their 7 seed, and this guy, you know, just got backed into the playoffs and all of that.
It depends on the
Okay,
health
but-
of the teams,
right.
the current
Right.
environment in which all these teams are in.
Right. Well, let's remember the scariest fucking thing that a commissioner ever wanted to see was a team with a losing record gets into the playoffs because they won. Remember Seattle's run?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they won 2 playoff games. They were in the NFC Championship game, and Goodell's like, I'm gonna make the call. Everybody's like, oh, the NFL's fixed. Yeah, okay. Well, Goodell makes 1 or 2 calls a year.
Right.
Okay. You know, no way Seattle makes the Super Bowl. Understand?
Guys, there are
You
so
know,
many
one of those deals. So-
variables that play
Right.
into that we haven't even seen yet. Let's
Right.
just talk about weather.
Right.
Let's do this. Let's say if San Fran and Philly were playing each other today. Who do you got?
San Fran and Philly?
Yeah,
San
just
Fran,
every
Philly healthy?
every
Yeah.
time, right? Now put them in Philly for a game in the snow, or it's 20 degrees and it's blowing wind and whatever. It's a different game, right? You still like San Fran,
But
that's
not
not
as
going to
confident.
happen.
now you start to find ways where you're like, oh, wait, Philly's got a chance.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So there are, and all these things, when you finally look at the game and it's on paper and it's X against Y, and this is the weather, and this guy is healthy, and this is the game plan, and this is their history, and this is how good they are. All these things you put together in a pot and you stir it up, and when it's done, the timer goes off, you look at it, and you're like, okay, this team should win. That's what has to happen first. So, you know, right now the stories are not written. I think we have an idea, but the Houston thing, their story is not written. I think that's why these 6 seeds, 7 seeds now get in, and people are like, again, because nobody's been talking about Houston all year. I mean, at parts, you see the success, the division, whatever, and obviously the quarterback play has been phenomenal, so they're on people's radar, but they're not the discussion.
I'll give them this. They are good enough as a football team to possibly be the '07 Giants, a team that no one gave a shot, like I just kind of mentioned, to get anywhere because
Backed
of where they
into
were
the playoffs.
positioned, had to go on the road 3 games versus really good teams and somehow, some way beat what most people would still consider the greatest regular season football team ever. And that was the longest shot in NFL history, I would say. So anything is possible. And this team has enough talent to be that.
Yeah.
I just don't see it, if I had to put my money on it, that they're going to be able to replicate that. But there is a possibility.
Remember,
they are
okay,
talented.
real quick too, we flipped the script and said now that the NFC seems to be maybe the stronger of the conferences just based on quarterback play. But now Houston doesn't have to worry about that. They're in the AFC. So they have to go against either maybe Josh Allen, maybe Patrick Mahomes, only because, again, you just have to put his name in the discussion. Not that I believe the Chiefs are going to be there in the end, but you have to. Who else? Throw all the Tua. Who?
Oh, gee, thanks.
Wait, hold on. Joe Flacco.
Don't patronize us.
Okay, I mean, you have all these quarterbacks.
patronize me.
That, I mean, potentially that C.J. Stroud could have to face, even if it's in their building.
He could lucked out this year and got in the right position to. Yeah.
It's not out of the realm of possibilities. Okay.
Well,
it's not out of the realm of
listen,
possibilities.
I tell everybody this, okay? Your team can be a super team, kick ass 18 different kinds of ways. If your coach sucks, you ain't going to go anywhere. I don't care if you win a playoff game. We've seen teams that they're the bully, they're the 400-pound gorilla, and they're ragdolling everybody. They get to the playoffs, and their head coach isn't prepared. Their
New
head
Orleans
coach-
is a perfect example this year.
Exactly.
Very talented.
So,
coach sucks.
you don't want Dennis
It's just-
Allen in the playoffs. He's going to get crushed.
Listen, people still bang on McDermott and
Right.
and because of Josh Allen, that's why they're in a
And
position.
guess
that they're
why
in.
Buffalo does not have a Super Bowl ring yet?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay?
so
This is the time where the coaches make the highest impact. Okay, when you get a coach that can motivate his team, prepare his team, and have his team prepared for whatever to adapt to whatever, whether it's on the road or at home, and bring your A game every time.
It's a big factor.
It's a huge factor. It's probably the biggest factor besides injuries. Okay, besides injuries. Okay, you just go back and you look at all the teams that came into the playoffs, middle of the pack, second string quarterback, 15 injured starters. Okay, but they're there, and then all of a sudden they rattle off 3 games in a row, and this head coach who was on the hot seat in the middle of the season, hoisting that Lombardi, going, "Hey, here's your hot seat. I'm going to go enjoy this on my hot seat." So it's the playoffs. The time is now. So, and the time is also now for, before Matt busts out any more weather tidbits. Let's take a break.
Or the Egyptian geese.
Yeah. We're gonna.
What
What are we gonna do? We gonna kick rocks
Holy
next? Well, you don't
hell.
even have to kick rocks, do
We're
you?
not kicking anything.
You're
We're
so
talking
sweaty.
football. I'm
my
gonna kick that
God.
fucking geese in a minute.
All right, I gotta go slap him around.
Gonzo Radio.
Yeah, we're reminiscing right now. Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. Yeah, we were reminiscing about about one of the fights I had with a drunken Buffalo fan who thought he was gonna fight everybody in the tailgate.
Hey, what do you feel about Buffalo, really?
Well,
Honestly.
they're not ISIS.
Don't stop holding back.
They're not ISIS. I'll give them that. Okay, they're technically in America, although I don't know, suspiciously close to Canada. I gotta say, a lot of y'all go party in Toronto. I know you do, but no, it's not a matter of I would march on Buffalo or anything like that. I mean, take it easy.
I like Buffalo.
Okay, it's just been a few skirmishes and brawls and whatever, but no big deal.
I know people
That
in
was
Buffalo.
the 80s and 90s. I'm older now, and I know how expensive lawyers are. I don't want to deal with that.
We have somebody from
situation at all.
Buffalo that could be watching our show.
Good Lord, I hope not. I mean,
not very nice
honestly,
at all.
I mean, it's bad. It's bad enough we've already got we've only got 37 fucking watch.
Mary, if
viewers,
you're
but-
watching, I'm sorry. He doesn't mean that. He's really a nice guy. He's
Oh,
just
really?
loud. So yeah. Anyway, hey, let's talk about some football.
Listen, I've got a friend who's not only a Buffalo Bills fan, but he's also a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
That's a
Okay,
contradiction.
who actually went to the Buffalo-Philadelphia game in Philadelphia, by the way.
Did he do the half
Yeah.
face paint? Like one side
I told him he
Eagles,
should do
one
it.
side
I
Bills?
told him he should be like the Kelsey mom with the mixed
That jersey was sweet, by the way. Yeah.
messed up orange and green and red and anyway. No, I just. Anyway, you were going. We were going. What do we got going on?
There's football today. A couple of games that matter.
Still hate Buffalo.
Kind of like yesterday. There was a couple of games that mattered.
A couple. Like the Steelers?
Yeah, whatever. Let's just.
Congrats, by the way, man. Come on, man. Why you so down and out? This guy.
He's mad because they got to rely on Duck. That's why he's mad because Duck is the quarterback.
They made it to the playoffs, bro.
Duck Mason is your quarterback. Love it.
We didn't make it yet.
Embrace it.
No, the only way the Steelers make the playoffs is if either the Dolphins beat the Bills. Oh my gosh! Or
you said the Bills aren't going to make the playoffs. At the beginning of the season,
I did.
You predicted the Bills were not going to make the playoffs.
Look at that smile. Oh, we changed
You
our
predicted
pick.
this, and that was a huge reason why I did a second show.
And 6 weeks ago, he was bragging about this.
Right.
About, didn't I tell you they weren't going to
Right.
make it? I don't want to hear you nonsense,
So
man.
should I go get you a Dolphins jersey? You better get on the bandwagon, boy.
if Tennessee beats Jacksonville, then also the Steelers have a chance.
Now, one or the other
They
has
don't
to
need them
happen,
both.
right?
They just need one or the other. So
It's almost a guarantee.
Give him your hat. Make him put the hat
No,
on.
you do not want the hat.
Wear the hat.
you don't want the hair.
You
Never
don't,
mind the
yeah,
hat.
you do not want me to
So-
give him the hat.
All right, guys, let's start. Bears pack.
Come on. What do we got?
Bears pack. Now, just real quick.
The oldest rivalry in the National Football
Justin
League.
Fields here, guys.
That's some real hate, too, by the way. Those people hate each other.
Chicago Bears, thankfully for their ability to completely pillage the Carolina Panthers, have the first pick next year in the draft. Justin Fields,
Trade down.
what are we doing?
They have the first and the 10th, by the way.
No, that I'm saying, but clearly the first pick overall.
I would trade down. I would keep Justin Fields, but they'll do something stupid, I'm
Well,
sure.
their options are one of two: is to keep Justin Fields,
Yes.
to recognize him as your franchise quarterback,
Yes.
pay the man at some point,
Yes.
and then just get a lot of picks because that number one pick's worth a lot.
Yes, yeah, especially
Considering
this year.
that they already have 10. So they can still keep 10
Right.
and still move one for probably even maybe a later first round pick.
I was going to say later first
Yeah.
and a second,
And
maybe.
a few.
Yeah.
more.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Load the hell up. I mean,
Yeah.
Listen. The point is that you're going. There's at least 3 or 4 teams that covet Caleb Williams, the quarterback for the USC Trojans.
Right.
Even though he had a down year. Okay. Even though he was a little off.
How about being distracted? I mean, the
Distracted,
kid had
exactly.
so much stuff going on. And he got rich,
Right.
by the way, too.
Right.
So
Right,
it's not
right.
like he
So-
didn't make a dime.
So it's a situation where okay, now great. That's a lot of rookie crap that you usually go through. Okay, coming in as the superstar, the savior of the franchise. So you trade out of that spot. Okay, especially if you find somebody in the top 10 who really wants that quarterback. Okay, so you can swap picks there. You can get them for another one next year. You can get them for maybe a 2 or a 3 this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of options.
You can load up.
Yeah, the question is,
Okay.
again, that's why I think today's game is going to be a showcase between, now dare I say, maybe 2 of the better quarterbacks in the league going forward. Because Jordan Love has made such a difference over the last 6 or 8 weeks.
Told
Huge
you.
strides.
I mean,
Told you.
he is playing phenomenal. Like, what, 3 years it took us to find this? I mean, whatever, it's happening.
Guter Kunst.
So, and the Bears are down 2 corners today. Their defense has been playing decent over the last few weeks, but they're really hurt on the back end.
Not anymore.
I think this today game is a showcase between 2 quarterbacks that are going to just go crazy. It matters for the Pack. The Pack win, they're in. They don't, they're not. So ultimately, I think the Packers are a better team than the Bears are, but this is going to be a fight, and I think you're going to see one of the better games you've ever seen from Fields, whether that's on the ground, in the air, whatever it is. But Jordan Love on the other side is going to look good in this game too. So for me, this game, I'm on the Packers just because they need it more so than the Bears do.
I'm actually going to take the Bears in this game. When teams coming in to the last week of the season are in a must-win situation that verse teams that are already eliminated, they lose more times than they win. I don't know why. I can't explain it to you, but those are the numbers. And when you have as much talent as Fields does have, I'm going to go ahead and take it that they're going to go ahead and win this game just to be a spoiler. Again, like Gonzo said, this is a massive rivalry in NFL history. It is the oldest, Gonzo, the oldest rivalry.
It's gotta be the oldest.
It's top 3. We're great.
This is like the 214th meeting of these teams.
Yeah, they've been playing since the 40s against each other. I mean,
leather helmets.
Like Army, Navy.
Yeah, exactly.
Each team had part-time jobs, in the off season, The Green Bay Packers, they worked in the Green Bay Packing Company, meat packers. And the Chicago Bears, they were, muscle for the local mob or whatever. I worked in the construction industry, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's a long time. And regional, oh my God. And the disdain is real. I mean, I have visceral hatred for everybody in the AFC East. No, these guys, they hate each other. And then everybody else, Minnesota, Detroit, yeah, whatever for you guys. But these two guys, they hate each other. I mean, families have conflicts because what? She's a Packer fan? I can't sign off. One of those deals. So yeah.
And I'll say this, that even though I am picking the Bears today, I got a ton of respect for how Jordan Love has handled.
Great job, young man.
I mean, listen,
great job.
He was at a point just 5 or 6 weeks ago where people were questioning if he was even coming back next year, that if he was even an NFL quarterback. And since those reports came out, he's done nothing but come out and kick everyone's butt. I mean, it's just what he's been doing.
And it's not just it's not just numbers. It's like if you watch the tape, like
he passes every test, the eye test, the number test.
Like,
he passes
like Peter King, again, I use his name a lot because he watches a lot of film, and we don't get the privy of watching NFL film like these guys do. And he's saying consistently week after week that the guy's reading through his progressions. He's making the right decisions. He can make every throw on the field. He's athletic. He's a leader. All these different things, they're showing up. But again, it's just a shock to me that he was under wraps for 2.5 years. And nobody knew what they had. Or they apparently knew what they had, but we did not know.
Yeah, but this was the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. No one knew what they had until you give him a shot.
It was insane, but every week.
Guterkunst.
Oh, we blamed everybody. Every week he would go up to the microphone, the coach, and go, oh, yeah, we're watching him on tape, and he's made a few good throws in practice. And we were like, what the hell? What do they have here? What are they doing? Well, it's working now, clearly, because Jordan Love is, again, a quarterback with a win today that takes their team into the playoffs. And Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately, which was whatever you want to look at him in terms of the Packers quarterback, thank you for your service. Go over there now. It's your turn to go spoil their culture. We got a guy now, and we're ready to move forward with this guy. So it's an unbelievable story with that franchise and quarterbacks.
I just find it to be a huge letdown spot for the Packers. A lot of trends will point that way. And I blame anybody for picking the Packers. In my opinion, they are a better football team. Just the trends will show. It's something weird about the last week in this particular situation where they just lose more than they win.
Yeah.
Vikings-Lions, another big one today. Lions are at home. The Lions, they need this win. If they get this win, they will get the 2 seed if the Cowboys and the Eagles lose. A little bit of a reach, I get it, but they are still in the hunt. They're going to play this game out. They're playing the Vikings. Vikings, I think their season ended like 3 or 4 weeks ago. They're playing out the string. They're not in a playoff picture. They're 7-9. I mean, there's some questions. Obviously, the quarterback, Dobbs in, Dobbs out. Whoever's playing this week, I don't even care. The Lions are a much better team. They're a big home favorite. I think they take care of business today in that game.
Yeah.
All right, what did I write down here, man? Because this game is weird only because of I don't know what Lions team I'm getting. They're in the playoffs clearly, and Dan Campbell wants a playoff win more than he wants to just beat Minnesota. So how hard the whole game are they going to play? Like I said, Lions might not play hard the whole game. They're mad from last week. But a potential playoff win next week is probably the best revenge other than coming into this game and possibly getting Montgomery hurt, Gibbs, a key player. I don't know how hard they're going to play. If the Lions do come in here focused and hungry, Minnesota's in deep trouble. But if they slack off, Minnesota's the type of team that could backdoor you and possibly win. I am going to take the Lions as my ultimate pick here just because, like you said, they're just a way better football team. But I do see scenarios where Minnesota could come in here and take it. But I'll go ahead with the Lions. Dan Campbell isn't the type of guy that seems like he takes his foot off the gas.
Yeah, no, kneecaps is going to win today.
Yep.
Yeah, Saints-Falcons. Saints are at home. I don't even care, honestly, about this game very much. I don't really have any. Actually, I do have one fantasy piece. But I don't know. Saints are at home. Saints need the game, clearly. Although neither of these teams figure unless the Bucs lose. So Bucks essentially win their game against the Panthers today. Then we're not talking about either of these two teams, regardless of the result. So I kind of think
Fire Arthur Smith.
Bucks are going to win anyway because they're playing the Panthers. So, but there is a scenario where the winner of this game can get in. But it's
Call it the Black Monday Bowl.
It's based on the Bucks.
It's the Black Monday Bowl because a lot of people they tend to forget and they're a little surprised that the day after the final game of the regular season is Black Monday for a reason. Because all them coaches that we've been waiting, the owners and general managers are like, as soon as the friggin' season's over, I'm gonna fire this.
That phone's gonna be ringing, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Yep.
Down goes Frazier.
This is a game that
You're taking this. Are you taking the?
I'm taking the Saints. I'm taking the Saints at home. Just because again, home team, better team. Falcons with the quarterback, Ritter, not Ritter, back to Ritter.
Both coaches are going down in a bowl of flames.
Who is Ritter?
Tomorrow. Done. Both of them.
For me, no bueno for this game. But if I had to pick one, I'm taking the Saints.
All right, I am in the same boat as you in a way that this game means very little to me personally. I just don't have much of an interest in it. That whole division is not that good. The Bucks, they show fight, but these two teams are horrible. The reason why I'm going with Atlanta, and let me give you some real numbers here. Allen as a head coach while being favored against the spread is 7-16-1. That is 30%. Okay, it gets no better against the spread just this season, which drops down to 27% as a favorite. Ooh. Then it gets even worse after a win. He is 20% as a favorite after a win.
And if I take him under all those circumstances, they go down to 14% as a win.
He's 2-7-1 against the spread as a divisional favorite. There is not a single number that would tell you that he should win this game. I don't care if they're playing Ritter, not Ritter, Ritter, and not Ritter. The guy doesn't win in any situation in this spot. So they are a better football team as far as talent. Both head coaches, Gonzo, completely right. Blow. Like neither one of these guys are Super Bowl coaches. I mean, I look at those numbers and I'm like, if I'm putting my money on something, I got to go Atlanta because this guy Allen might be the worst coach ever as a favorite. So give me Atlanta and Ritter and all his nonsense. I'll go ahead and take him.
Okay, that's a good point.
Listen, the Raiders Nation will back me up on this. Dennis Allen is not a good head coach at all. Yeah. At all. I saw that man run two talented Raiders teams into the ground. And the minute that he was gone, the next coach, boom, 11 wins. How did that happen? Essentially the same team.
Yeah, really.
How about because he knew how to take hisn and beat urine and urine and beat hisn. Okay, Dennis Allen is a terrible head coach. Good defensive coordinator. I expect to see him in Denver next year. Follow his boss because that's Peyton's mentality. But Dennis Allen is just a horrible head coach. Arthur Smith is going to end up being an offensive coordinator somewhere next year.
But he's just as bad.
Both of those guys are going to be unemployed tomorrow
as head coaches.
As head coaches tomorrow
for sure.
Coordinators fine. Head coaches, forget it.
Yeah, I totally agree with that 100%. I mean, there's always the coaching attrition tree every year.
Yeah.
Usually 7, 8, 9
That's why
coaches.
I call it the Black Monday Bowl, man,
yeah,
because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who wins.
Well,
because both them coaches are getting fired tomorrow.
Here's a game that is going to be, if it goes where I think it's going to go, there will be some coaching scrutiny here as well. Jags at the Titans. Trevor Lawrence, he's hurt. He's been hurt. He hasn't been playing very well. The Jags haven't been playing very well. Who are the Jags? What is the Jags' identity? We talked about coming into this point in the year, the biggest thing that you need on your side is health. I would imagine an identity, who you are, just consistency, good quarterback play. They don't have any of these things right now. And they're going into Tennessee, who is not a very good football team either, but I think if you look at their coach and what their coach represents, I don't think he would like
Peterson is great.
Anything more. I'm talking about Vrabel on the other side.
Oh, Vrabel.
Yeah, I think
Vrabel's pretty great too.
I think Vrabel, my point is that being home today is going to get to that defense and tell them that we're going to make Jacksonville suffer today. We're going to be as physical as we've been all year against this team.
Don't worry about the flags.
Yeah, and just smack them around. And I do think Jacksonville's in a little bit of trouble this year. They've been soft. I don't know. For me, it's Mike Vrabel Pride today. It's Pride Day today in Tennessee. So I got.
Is there going to be a parade?
I got the Titans in a shocker today. Not necessarily a shocker, but an upset.
Which letter is Mike Vrabel?
And we'll be talking about next year about Trevor Lawrence, about where does he fit in the equation when he goes out today. Or let's say he goes out today and he's 18 for 26 and he's got maybe a touchdown and 2 picks and they lose. That's worrisome.
You get a damn haircut while you're at it.
It's worrisome. Yeah, so Sunshine and the Jags are going to be going into the offseason next year, potentially, again, with lots of questions. So
I totally agree with you on this game. Vrabel has very much like a mindset of Dan Campbell. He's just not as outlandish about saying
no kneecap biting.
He doesn't say things like that, but his attitude and mentality is very similar. It's like every game, no matter what our record is, y'all boys better come to play because you're representing my coaching. He doesn't seem like he takes any of those games off. Ryan Tannehill, I believe, is starting over Levis, and I got to tell you, because of his experience, he is a step up from Levis. I know the guy had one good game, but since then, he hasn't shown a whole lot. Teams needing a win against an eliminated team, as we spoke about earlier, are 64, 104. That's 39% against the spread since 1990. Vrabel is one of the best coaches as an underdog. Okay,
at home,
all the trends are leading you to believe that a hurt on the downside Jaguars team should lose outright money line against this Tennessee Titans team. And
so there,
I am going to go along with Matt and tell you I don't think the Jags win this game, regardless of their desperation.
There you go. And I mean, and I like the scenario as well because. If the Jags lose and Buffalo loses, then we're going to see a scenario where the Steelers might be coming to town. And you know what? If that happens, Matt, you and me and you, the three of us, we're going to the game, okay? If we get the Steelers in town for the playoffs, okay, the three of us are going to the game.
It'd be a Steelers home game.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
Yeah.
No, not as.
That's gonna be fun, man.
Not as crazy. Listen, it's taken as in typical Miami
I'm not going.
fan.
No TJ Watt. I'm out.
Oh,
I'm out.
you big sick.
what a
I'll
big
buy the
loss
ticket.
yesterday.
I'll drive.
I'll
drive.
I'll pay.
I'll drop you guys off in the front of the stadium. I'll Uber you.
I'll pay.
Yeah. All right. So
and we'll take your SUV.
anyway, so
I'll pay.
Yeah.
He don't want it.
Sounds
he
like
don't
fun.
want it.
Sounds like
he
fun.
Don't want it.
No,
come on. This will make you right. Buffalo won't make the playoffs.
Right, I agree with that.
Okay?
I agree with that.
And you'll get to see your Steelers live.
I would potentially get to see them live. In that game, let's say that does happen, the Dolphins would be a 5.5 point favorite.
And we'll smoke them like a salmon. I understand.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm
so
not sure how the defense will respond.
now you can move on to your next game.
Yeah.
See, I didn't rant.
Seattle,
I'm
Arizona.
such a mature adult.
Another spot where it matters.
Seattle again.
It matters for Seattle.
I love Pete Carroll. Can I tell you that? I love Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but Seattle's been inconsistent too this year. And Geno Smith, who I was a little bit high on this year, higher than most, hasn't played great through long stretches. He's dealt with some injuries too. They still have a lot of weapons though. But Arizona, since Kyler Murray's been back the last few weeks, has been pretty good on offense. They have perhaps, I'm going to say arguably at least the second best tight end in the league right now, right?
And don't forget the Terminator.
Yeah, and they are moving the football, and James Conner has looked revitalized over the last few weeks. This is a tough game. This is a tough game for Seattle. I'm on Arizona in this spot, and actually like some DFS pieces as well.
Again, fully agree with you here. A lot of the money is going to be on Seattle because people are just picking what's a better team, but they're not digging into the real details of what's going on.
Word.
If you had a question about Arizona's pride, they answered it last week. They're not giving up, and they haven't thrown in the towel. They went into Philadelphia down 14 at halftime and came rearing all the way back. A team that's giving up just doesn't do that.
Good young head coach, by the way.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray is harder to catch than a squirrel, man. This kid is just back there running around.
Yes.
You cannot catch him. He extends plays forever.
Like a greased-up squirrel in the wind.
Yeah, his wide receivers are eventually going to get open, and both teams are horrible against the run. If you – listen, I think we'll get to this later.
Yeah.
But this is a good game to just load up on the running pieces on DFS because you're not going to get a better matchup.
Ain't nobody getting stopped.
Two good running backs also, so it's not like you're taking a chance on unproven running backs. Both these guys are bruisers.
I almost said Sean Alexander.
Nice.
Wow, that's old. That's before your
Nice.
1990 stats. Kenneth Walker, at times this year, I watched him run.
Unstoppable.
That dude is like Barry Sanders-esque. I mean, the way he eludes. I know Gibbs, we talk about him and his talent, and what he does is crazy, too.
He's underrated. Really underrated.
Man, Kenneth Walker, it makes people look silly out there.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I mean, listen, and I kept an eye on the kid when he was at Michigan State because I must have watched about 3 or 4 games. And just he happened to be spotlighted in 3 or 4 games. And the thing that was amazing about him back in college, and it's the same thing that's amazing about him now, he needed a 1-year adjustment period, but he has, besides the balance, the speed, and the burst, he has upper body strength. That how many times have we seen him? It's almost like he's Marshawn Lynch. How many times have we seen him where he creates separation with his hands, or he creates separation with a twist of his body?
Got the Emmitt Smith stiff arm.
Right, and his lowering of a shoulder. What are you, 205, 210, boom, and you're watching him run over top of you.
He's strong.
He trucks people. He's sneaky strong, and that's because he's got that upper body strength. Okay, I mean, besides the arms, he's got that. I mean, you look at the kid, his back is like as wide as mine, and I'm friggin' huge, and he is just a monster.
Ask the woman
body.
you punched in the ear at the stadium.
Exactly.
She knew what was coming.
Well, last year he had a lot of ticky-tack soft tissue injuries. Okay, his rookie season, he had a lot of ticky-tack soft tissue injuries. And he learned how to better take care of himself and on what level he has to prepare himself. And he came more prepared this year.
More turmeric. I've been increasing my
Turmeric.
Yeah, turmeric's been helping me.
Take the old guy route. Yeah. Okay, every time. Okay, so what's next?
I got Arizona. You got Arizona?
Yeah, I'm going to take Arizona for the upset, man.
Upset special.
I agree.
Bing, 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 bing.
Well, boy, the Eagles and the Giants. Don't you think that Dable would want nothing more than to just
stick it to him?
Stick it right in the Eagles' back
This
end.
is a funky game
It is
today.
weird.
It is very...
Now, Tyrod Taylor is going to be starting for the Giants, right?
Best backup in the league.
He's good. You got to believe that he's even licking his chops against that Philadelphia secondary because they are just terrible. And they've been terrible
to this
all
defense, man?
year. Well, we've talked about it. They're not getting pressure up front.
Waller.
They changed the coordinators, okay, and it's not working clearly because neither of them can obviously make play calls. But regardless of that, the Eagles have been historically bad on the back end against everybody over the last full season. It hasn't gotten any better. The Giants, I think, with young receivers, Wan'Dale Robinson being one who I like today actually a little bit, and Tyrod Taylor, thinking that this is like the Giants' Super Bowl today against the Eagles, okay? Eagles are on the road again. You can look at the two teams being one against the other. The Eagles are a better football team. It's not even close.
Hands down.
Right? But like you talked about, these situations, the numbers don't lie, the
Division
matchups.
game.
There will be a couple of these teams today that follow that trend.
Absolutely.
And continue on where we got 4 or 5 of these games happening. You can expect 2 or 3 of these teams are probably going to lose today.
Yep.
This is a game where I think that Philly is in a lot of trouble. I got the Giants.
All right, the reason why I'm not going to pick the Giants is for one reason. The Giants don't have a lot of skill position stars, okay? Saquon Barkley is really the only guy. Saquon's on a contract year this year, basically, or something like that. He's not going to want to get injured the last game of the season, okay? I'm telling you right now. I don't see Saquon playing with everything he has. And if they're going to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, bad defense or not, he's going to need to come to play. I didn't check up because incentives to me were big this week to find out who's going to really play hard or not. I don't know if Saquon has any reachable incentives, but if he doesn't come to play hard, I don't see how the Giants can upset this team. I mean, not on the arm of Tyrod Taylor with no wide receivers.
Somebody
to
wins
talk
this game
about.
by a point. 21-20, 23-22.
Is Philly playing for anything? Are they locked in?
Yeah,
spot?
no.
What is Philly playing for
Philly
right
has
now?
to win. Philly's they're just a better team, but I don't know. Philly has to I wrote down their scenario.
I think they're
They have
fifth
to
right
win,
now,
and
but if
Dallas
they
has to lose.
For
and
them
they're
to get the
second or
2
third or
overall.
something. Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
so they are
yeah,
playing for
yeah,
something.
Yeah, but now that's the next game we're to talk about is the Dallas game that matters. Dallas at
Segue.
Washington. Now, for me, blood in the water. I don't think it matters what the Eagles do today. That's another thing. That's why I think the Giants do win, because I think the Eagles realize that the Commanders are just terrible, and they've been bad for weeks now.
Speaking of Black Monday,
They have no offensive linemen left, I think, on the roster. The Cowboys' defense is going to feast on them today. And the Cowboys, whatever offense they're going to need to produce, will be able to. So I think Dallas smacks them today. It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, I think the spread is 13.5,
Yeah.
and I would say go ahead and hit that cover.
I wrote down 14+, so
hit the cover,
that's
man.
what I felt about
I'm
that
with
game.
you on this one as well, dude. I think that Dallas comes in here and makes a statement.
Okay, now, last game. We got 5 minutes to go over this, because then we come back and do some TVS. 5 minutes I'm giving you guys to attack me, because I'm just going to say 2 words, and then you guys can go.
you're ugly.
Buffalo wins. All right, go.
Well, then you just prove yourself wrong.
Maybe.
You've been talking smack all season long about how Buffalo's not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be you're going to be proven wrong.
But
I would love for you to be right.
Me too.
Okay, but hey, listen, in all of our analysis, and we touched on division games. Okay, where the supposed the team with the losing record always jumps up and bites the team with the winning record in the ass. How many times has that happened to the Dolphins? Okay, how many times has that happened? Okay, and it happens in all kinds of division games. Okay, whether you're 5-11 or you're 11-5. Okay, it happens all the damn time. So with all the experts, with you contradicting yourself, and all of these experts that all I'm seeing all week long is, for Buffalo to win the game, and Buffalo's going to win the game, and I see Buffalo winning it, and I see Tua throwing 2 interceptions, and I see this, and I see you see all of that, and you know what I do? I sit back and I go, sure, no problem. Why? Because it's a division game, and you know what? It can go 180 friggin' degrees in the other direction. Okay, 180 degrees in the other friggin' direction. Okay, then Josh Allen has to throw the ball 40 times, and he throws 2 picks, maybe a pick 6 to Ramsey, and Josh Allen takes off running and drops, and he goes back to old Josh Allen dropping the ball all over the place. And guess what? Then Miami, the team that was expected to lose in a division rivalry game, they pull out the home win. All right, so I just go, okay. You're the experts. You tell me. After last week's debacle, okay, which they came in injured and they left more injured, more catastrophically injured. It's anybody's guess as to what's going to show up tonight. So, and I just say, okay, it's a division game. We'll see how it goes.
I agree with that.
The Buffalo Bills, as far as a respect,
Still hate you, Buffalo.
They're in a no-win situation, because if they beat us, you beat our B squad today. 19 injuries, 5 Pro Bowlers. You didn't really beat us. If you lose today, you lost to our B squad. That's ridiculous. When
19 injuries, 5 Pro Bowlers.
So you're kind of in a no-win situation. Dolphin fans aren't even going to take you serious as far as like you trying to brag about how you beat us to get in here, because you really didn't beat us. I actually have more faith going into next week if we lose this game, healthier in Buffalo, than I do at home right now with all these injuries that are stacked up. If I'm taking my homerism out of this, Buffalo should win this game. They're healthier. They're a tad hungrier, I guess you would say. They've worked their butt off to get into this position. And the Dolphins did not look good last week. And now we're missing Chubb. I don't even know how we get a pass rush on Allen today. Like, how do we even get to him? So I'm praying with everything in my heart that I'm wrong today. But I'm going to go take Buffalo as my pick today, just as a sports guy. But you really can't brag if you win. I mean, next week will be a real test if it lines up the way that it might, to where we have to play you again in your house. Howard will be back. We'll have Mozart 100% if he doesn't play this week. Man, we're missing so many damn players.
It's a lot.
Get out of my house.
Now back to me being accused of contradiction. I made that statement at the beginning of the season, and it
Yeah.
was bold.
Yeah.
And that's why that if it had come in, let's say if we
And now
had
you're
$100
putting,
on there.
the toothpaste back in the tube.
No, I'm saying that
Yeah, go shave your head.
a bold statement 18 weeks ago, knowing that you're going to get 1,000 to 1 odds, isn't part of the reason why we make these is to get a little bit of a sweat.
Oh, don't make it about the odds.
Is to get a sweat in what we do. And this would have been one hell of a sweat. Yeah, I would have been rooting for Miami, one hell of a thing, but I'm allowed to change my mind as the season progresses. And I've looked at Buffalo the last 5-6 weeks, and I know how well they're playing, and I've looked at the game tonight in terms of the Dolphins and the injuries, and I'm looking at this as one game tonight that Buffalo needs to win, and I think they're going to win. That's it.
There is one stat that a trend, and I don't know if I wrote it down or not, but teams in this scenario where the Dolphins are at win 64% of the time. It's something like a must-win for the division against an opponent in your division in the last game at home.
Under 80
you
degrees.
win 64% of the time. So this exact scenario, the Dolphins should win. It's just, bro, these aren't injuries to our third stringers, guys. These are like all pros that are hurt, man. It's hard, man. It's hard to pick them right now when you have this much against you.
Yeah. That's true. That's just true.
And Josh Allen cooks against us the last 4 games. I just got to be honest. I mean, it's just we can't stop him.
I know one way to stop him, but anyway, I don't.
Hit below
I
the
don't want to
knee?
be mean.
Hit below the knees.
No, punch him in the ear.
Take the flow. Oh yeah,
Just a
like
straight jab.
like his buddy back in 1992. Yeah, that would be a really
I like
good
your
plan.
logo.
Yeah.
All
Trick
right,
that
we're gonna-
bitch with the
we're gonna-
banister.
We're gonna
That's it.
take yeah right.
Take that, lady.
That's what you get for being a mouthy old lady.
That's it.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll come back for a little. I don't even know what the hell we're coming back with right after this.
DFS.
Oh, DFS. Oh, a dumb
Core Force.
Gonzo Radio.
Yeah, I'm going to give you some good DFS advice. Let me tell you what. Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. So we were mulling over the break as to why Bradley Chubb was in the game with, 3 minutes left, and it was a blowout. And, McDaniel, he admits that he made a mistake, or he laments that he made a mistake and put him back in, but it was almost like a force of habit. All right, go back in. Wait a minute, you, Chubb. He should have said, hey, you, Chubb, come back out. Send somebody else in. But still, it's a matter of, I think that the organization built that stadium on an Indian burial ground. I really do. I think there's something that's cursed. Maybe there's an old Jamaican or Haitian voodoo lady who put a mojo on the Dolphins or something, because it's just been the most bizarre key injury, horrible things. I mean, it happens to a lot of teams in the NFL, but for some strange reason, especially the last 10, 15 years for the Dolphins, that's been their thing. that has been their thing. I mean, with the exception of that one year with Cam Cameron, who had no business being a NFL head coach. No business.
Well, you know what?
1 in 15 Cam Cameron. You got to love that guy.
Yeah.
Not only are the people from Buffalo not watching, but we are no longer having any Haitian or Jamaican viewerships as well.
Or natives.
Yeah, because they're killing people and poisoning the stadium and everything else we're doing.
Well, now
so
it's not, and now it's
this is what
Jason,
the Buffalo Bills do to him.
now it's Jason Pierre-Paul has got relatives that are putting a curse on us because we had him for 2 weeks and then
He doesn't even have all his fingers.
I know.
So let's not kind of talk about Jason.
4th of July is his favorite holiday.
Oh my
I'm telling
God!
you right now.
All right, let's get into the DFS before we get more politically incorrect. But
He gives his teammates high 2.5.
Silly throwing the rock sign.
Take that, yeah.
Oh my God!
Here you go.
I'm just gonna sit back and watch you two talk nonsense. Oh my God, you're killing Johnny. The Autobahn is about to die.
Rock, paper, scissors.
This is a professional and mature.
I see that. I'm sweating. I'm laughing.
I'm picking rock every time.
I'm taking scissors. I got a feeling that's going to win.
It's not even scissors. It's like hedge
gosh.
clippers.
Okay, so we got some DFS to talk about today, boys.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Done with you, man.
Wow. That's
Did you
funny.
pee a little?
A little bit. I got a spot. All right.
This segment brought to you by Depends Undergarments.
All right, let me just wipe myself first. All right, now some of the issues, or many of the issues today, what my predictions are for DFS is that you're going to have a lot of players in there that you're going to look at their salaries and go, I can't put him in my lineup. He's only 4,200, or I can't use that guy. He's only 2,700. Use him. If you like a guy today, you probably like him because there's traction with his name.
Michael Carter with Arizona.
Yeah, there's a few guys out there. It's all about opportunity. That's what we look for in DFS. And unfortunately or fortunately, depending on who you pick, these sites don't adjust enough for their salaries when it comes to some of these players.
Well, that's your advantage.
If you find those guys correct. So the point was to look at some of those guys. But again, my point is this would be a week where we're not worried about leaving money on the table. I think it's actually a good advice because it's hard to do. And most people think that if they have money left over to spend, that they're missing out on some additional talent somewhere. Like just because the guy is 7,000 and you like the guy that's 5,200, well, the guy that's 7,000 has a clear advantage. Well, maybe most cases he does, but in today's football environment, week 18, it's not the case.
Watch your matchups,
So,
watch your situations.
Find guys that have opportunity today. There's going to be a lot of guys on the second and third string guys, backup tight ends that have had, when they're in situations to perform, they have performed, they have history. So you want guys with opportunities and guys with history. And if you can pair those guys together, you'll be able to put anybody in your lineup, even if it is the most expensive price guy. It's not going to matter. So some of the guys that I've written down today, we talked about the matchup between the Packers and the Bears. I think that game shoots out. I'm on the Packers side today on that. The way Jordan Love has been playing, it's a big game for him. I think that he plays well today. So I got him. I got
No, go on. I'm listening.
I got Romeo Dobbs because I want the hookup today. The Bears are down 2 corners. I mentioned that, so they're really hurting on the back end. Incentive-wise, defensively, I don't know where it's going to be again. I just want to see points in this game. All right. So I got that combination, and we talked about how bad the running defenses are going to be in the Arizona-Seattle game. Both teams bottom 5. So give me the 2 best players on the field potentially, which is Connor on the other side for Arizona, who's been really good the last couple of weeks, and Kenneth Walker for Seattle, who at times that dude is just silly. I mean, just the way he moves, it's almost like a cheat code, you know. Super talented. It's about opportunity, I think. And Seattle has an outside shot to still get in the playoffs, so they're going to want to come play in that game today. And it's one of the fewer games that really has no weather concern either. It's in Arizona. So that's where I'm at today. I'm at Love and Dobbs. And I got Walker and Connor as my core 4. So.
Wait, Love is. Oh, hey, let me tell you on DK, he's trading at 6,600, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's a 7th or 8th priced quarterback on the list. So again, value.
Good value.
You're not paying as much for him as you would pay for obviously the names like Allen, Mahomes, stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I like that list, man, especially the running back core. One of those guys for sure is breaking out for over 20. There's no doubt about that, if not both. That should be very good if you take both those guys. I'm going to go ahead and start with Dak. Like you just mentioned, man, they should have a lot of opportunity to score. They are playing for something. I think that Dak Prescott's going to come out here and actually put the screws to Washington. I'm going to go, he is at 8,700, so if you're playing FanDuel, it seems like that's expensive, but I could easily see 22 to 25 from him and you getting value out of him. I'm going to go the backup running back Mitchell for San Francisco. I like his matchup for his price tag. There is no McCaffrey, sorry. Yeah, so he's going to get a ton of touches. I think that he can go ahead and as a dual threat back, he's going to be good for you at 6,600. I'm going to go Hopkins, and the only reason why is people might not notice he has a lot of incentives that he could get today, and they're reachable incentives. So I think that Hopkins comes out here and plays his heart out. They connect with Ryan Tannehill, and I think for the 6,800 that he is, you'll get some value out of him as well. And for a tight end, I'm going to go Goddard from Philly. I think he is going to feast today. But at 6,100, I think he'll be a top 3 tight end fantasy-wise this week. Those are going to be my core 4 this week. And I love your running back matchup, man. That's almost a guarantee should play.
Let me give you a cheap guy because I know we threw around, trying to find some value. Again, the Giants, we talked about how bad the Eagles secondary is. Wan'Dale Robinson has, I think, 2 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. Young receiver that's been coming on. He's a 6 to 8 target guy. He's a deep threat too, so he's a guy that can break one. And he's relatively cheap. He's like 4,200 on DK. So Wan'Dale Robinson, hopefully in a game that's got some points in it. That's one of my cheaper selections today. So
well, I have a question, and I'm kicking back. Hey, I'm over here now. I'm kicking back, and I'm putting together a roster right here. Now I have a question. You guys seem to have glossed over the matchup of the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. A very good and motivated defense versus a very bad and undermotivated offense. And I think that it's a good opportunity for the New York Jets defense to not only score, but really hold the game down low and really score a lot of points as a defense.
I took the other side.
You went New England?
I got New England's defense today.
Okay.
They were the 4th or 5th price defense, 3,600, I think, because I'm going, again, same concept. It's the lowest total I've ever seen in my life at a football game.
Yeah, 29, 28. Yeah. I mean, really.
I mean, it's going to be popular. I get it. I hate to be on the narrative about the whole Belichick thing and one for the Gipper, and I think that's all BS because I think he's not the Gipper and they're not the one. So it's not going to be like that. But I do think because the Jets' offense is fairly anemic outside of the running back, at Hall, it's just, where is the offense going to come from? Plus, there's weather. I don't know. If anything, if the Patriots have a pulse at all, it's on the defensive side.
My defensive pick of the week, I like both of those, and both of those obviously could be big, is the Bucks versus Carolina. Yeah. I think the Bucks defense could come to play.
Carolina is also another terrible
team. It's a good
one.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
All right, should be interesting. I think those are some great core 4 plays. I mean, we've been good all year long. So, Listen, just because the regular season's over doesn't mean there's not DFS because the playoffs will get started. And I like playoff football, playoff basketball better because the lineups, the rosters are generally more set. You know what the matchups are going to be. And
it almost gets easier. It does, a little bit.
The information is just a little bit more accessible. One, because the focus is just on so much of those games as opposed to the whole slate. And 2, I just think, again, we have a pretty good sense of who these teams are. And, again, these are the best teams supposedly that are in this playoff, format. So, I don't know. For me, it's a smaller sample, that we're really kind of trying to break down. And I think we just have a better handle on it because we've seen – these specific teams, like all the rest of them all year round, all year long, but now we get to focus on just these teams, So looking forward to it. Yeah, so we'll definitely be around still. Looking forward to it. Yeah, this is a big week today. Playoffs, for real football now. There's the whole landscape of the NFL could change by 4 o'clock, So pretty interesting.
Yeah, not counting tonight's game.
And tonight's game, again, that's – to end the season, what was you guys may remember, maybe don't. Wasn't the last game of last year another big one that went down to the wire and was a crazy ass finish? And I don't remember who it was. I want to say Denver was involved or something. I don't remember.
I think it was Cincinnati was involved.
Cincinnati? Was it Cincy and KC?
I think so. It was some crazy game. It was like, why is this on the schedule on week 18?
I don't remember.
Yeah, but-
I thought it had some value. I'll have to go back and look. But anyway.
What do you know? You think Buffalo's going to make the playoffs now. You didn't think that for 10 weeks they didn't think he was going to make the playoffs, and now all of a sudden he changed his mind.
That's because they're playing the Dolphins.
Oh,
That's why.
shut up.
That's pretty easy.
Shut up.
Matter of fact, I'm going to find that woman who had that banner. I'm going to pull up some old YouTube. Was there YouTube back there when you were young? Probably not. No, they had YouTube. They didn't have fucking pencils, let alone YouTube when you went to football games.
All right, that's enough out
Sorry.
of you. All right, well, listen, we could wrap this up nice and neat at 12:15. So say goodbye to the nice people. Say goodbye to the regular season.
Goodbye, nice people. Goodbye,
And the regular season.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Next time you see us, it will be playoff football.
Good luck tonight.
Yeah, and I mean,
what? I'm sorry. You guys didn't even congratulate me or anything.
What happened to you? Oh, you're the champ.
I'm the champ.
Oh, yeah,
Fantasy
you
football.
are. Yeah.
I won a championship.
Yeah, the champ is here.
In Danny
There he
Heinbender's
is.
league.
See, there he is. There's the champ. Wait. The champ is the champ is also here. There's the champ as well.
There he is. Although, unfortunately, with that league, I finished second this year. So I finished second in the work league, and I ended up winning Danny Heinbender's league. So yes, I am the champ again this year. But
Yes.
I mean, not really surprised.
Well, and
Ultimately.
listen, you also lost in the finals to a team that was very well drafted,
Juggernaut.
and it's one of those situations where when you hit on 75% of your draft picks, and they all project out, and they all do well, and then you go and you make those 4 or 5 free agent pickups that improve that core. Yeah, they did a really good job.
I lost by like 35 points in the championship game, I
Strike
scored
Force,
and I scored 150.
Yeah.
So-
It was Scuba Steve and
Yeah,
Clark.
it wasn't enough.
Scuba Steve and Clark.
That was my best team, honestly.
And ask
in all
Clark,
my
he'll tell you
leagues.
he's the brains of the organization.
I was
so.
second in points in that league.
Yeah. It's one of those.
Enough.
It's one of those magical teams that just goes off.
And Danny's team, the one that I won, that was Band-Aids, Q-tips, and bubble gum.
Duct
I
tape,
finished second in the league and
duct tape and
somehow
baling wire.
was the 7th in scoring. I was like winning games at the right time
And
all
since we're
season.
still talking about it, in both of these, when they do the ESPN analysis of your drafting and how you finish,
Yeah.
You suck.
they had me 12th in both.
Yeah,
which
you
is
suck.
amazing. 12th, and I took screenshots. This
So
is
you
memories.
had a horrible draft. You fixed the rest of the team.
No,
What
I
can
did
tell
not.
you?
I had a great draft. All my guys are broke because I'm smarter than the
It's
analysts.
okay that you're not good at it.
12th, they had me ranked.
It's okay
Out
that
of
you're
12?
mediocre.
Yeah, please.
It's good to be
Please.
mediocre. It really is. You get a
Yeah.
participation trophy.
Yeah, 12th. I got your fucking 12th.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself and the muttering, grumbling
Point you in the ear.
flip flopper across the desk from me,
I knew one.
and Johnny the
Come here.
Autobahn. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, of course, as always. And I think, will we be back? We're going to be back next week.
I hope
think
so.
Maybe,
yeah, God
possibly.
willing, unless we get attacked by the Jamaican Haitian
Or unless the Steelers
Federation
are in town.
of
If
old
the Steelers
women,
are in town next Sunday,
of old lady
we
Buffalo
might not be
Bill
here.
fans.
But yeah, be sure to tune in every week whenever just take a look. Just keep watching, and eventually the bat signal will go up, and we'll show up, and we'll show you how to get it done.
The opinions on this show are not necessarily
No,
a
there are no
reflection
opinions on
of
it.
the
Goodbye.